Myself on camera. That's what I should do. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, Char. Welcome. Welcome to the craziness. Welcome. Well, today's the last day for Jupiter, Big Jupe, to be in Gemini. And then, or its last day to be in Taurus before it goes into Gemini. And Venus, as she's in, we're not going to see her for a little bit because she's getting so close to the sun. And she's going to be going a little bit, into the dark as she gets close to the sun and then comes out on the other side where she becomes the evening star. I think it's the evening star that she's going to become. Anyways, I'm going to go with that. Yeah, it's just so crazy. So crazy. I was going to do readings today, but I thought it might have been too late for me to post it up to do readings for people today. So that was my thought, but then I ended up doing a little bit of running around and didn't get it posted in time. So, I'm just gonna wing it. But if you want to send a donation to Mama will take the donations. It is, it's gnarly. It is gnarly right now. And I was just watching a program. One of these guys he's a young guy, and I can't remember what his YouTube station is. Anyways, talks about the political scene and stuff like that. He's from Ontario, and he was mentioning that for one, about the new immigration law in Canada, which is like, okay, really, let's just bring them all in without vetting or anything. Anyways, that's just another stuff, another topic. But how many people for just their liquor store, like this one liquor store, for one position that they had, ended up with like over 1,000 applications. Like, it was just so crazy. And it's like, it's not a high paying job. It's at the government liquor store in Ontario. And the manager was just like, yeah, 50, maybe something like that. But he had over 1,000 plus applications. I think it might have been more than that for him for the liquor store. So totally crazy, gnarly, right? People are looking. People are I don't know. Well, some of them are getting desperate, but it's getting scary out there, people. It's getting scary. I've applied for everything and anything and haven't received or anything. Yeah. I hear you. It is. It's one of those where my son has given me, and apply for jobs that you could do at home. So I've done that too, for jobs I could do at home. Haven't heard anything back. Nothing back, which is odd. At least you'd get some kind of reply back, but nothing. But anyways, so here I am, still doing my thing, still doing my hustle, and and asking for donations. I on TikTok, hold on. I got a piece of gum, which I shouldn't have put in my mouth. So excuse me, I gotta take this gum out of my mouth because it's driving me crazy. There, now I can talk properly. Where they're doing TikToks to save their house. They're doing TikToks. One is doing a TikTok to save a habitat for, I think it's for wolves or something. I think that's what it was. Another one is doing a TikTok because he inherited his family home They already had to sell off, most of the farm, and but still they have the house, and he was trying he needed so many followers or something in order for him to get, to save money, and he even put up, where people could send in donations and stuff like that. And he showed all the paperwork and how legit and everything it was. It wasn't a scam or anything like that. So anyways, just through views. Now, we can't do that in Canada because they don't allow it. Uh, but that's where you're going to find more and more people doing things because they are feeling the desperation. Desperation is coming in. And watching there was like we don't like we don't have a hell of a lot. But there was a dad, because my husband talks to everybody. And he was just saying to my husband how hard he was having it in order for him to find a job. And I can't remember what he does, but he has two young girls. And his wife has been, I guess they put her down to part-time. So what a lot of companies are doing is that if you're full-time, they're gonna put you down to part-time so they can hire another part-timer, and it's cheaper for them instead of having just you kinda thing. So anyways, she's been, down to, part-time, so her part-time hours are less than, I guess, 30 hours or what have you a week, 20 hours a week now. And he says, "Yeah, it's really tight," and his EI's running out, and he's willing to do anything, at this time. So he's having trouble. Anyways, what we did, so Steve goes, "Oh, okay." So what we had some stuff in the freezer and stuff, so we put a care package together for him so that he would have something to make the kids sandwiches and things like that, for him. And we've done that a couple times because we had some extra stuff in the freezer. I mean, that's a blessing for us. We do have food in the freezer right now. Um, but it's one of those things that we're going to start seeing more and more of people finding that desperation. It's like, one, the government doesn't have money. So, when it comes to um, you know, money that they want to throw away to its people, no, they don't have that, but they have money to throw away to other countries, kind of thing. So it's uh it's unfortunate, and that's, again, that's going into where the astrology is too. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword where it's like, yeah, there's some really wonderful spiritual opportunities, but it's also the energies are coming in and saying, this is what we need, this is what you need to start um hunkering down on. And a lot of the things that I've repeated, and I feel like I'm, repeating things till I'm blue in the face about what you need to have in your house. Now, the problem is that a lot of people have done that, and now they're having to utilize the stuff that they have started to store up, but are not able to replenish it as quickly as they had been in the last few years. That's going to be the key thing. Um, And we're gonna start seeing where more people are going to be utilizing, like, the food banks and things like that. And even within the food banks where, people are going to have a hard time. There is a Sikh community here in the Northeast that gives away free food every week, and, fresh vegetables and everything else, and they do it all for free. Doesn't matter who you are, they feed everybody, and they've been doing that. They have seen an increase of families, and not only families, even, like, young couples coming in who are just barely making it because their rent has gone up, insurance has gone up, other things have gone up, and they're just like, "Okay, I've paid all of this, but we have no food." So they're coming in and they're getting food. Now they get some really fabulous donations from, a lot of the grocery stores and things and places like that. They've made some really good connections, and they get people from the Sikh community volunteering. That's one of their things with their religion, is to feed the poor and to feed the hungry. So you can go into any of the mosques, Sikh mosques, and there's always a kitchen. Usually there's always a kitchen going, and they're ready to feed people, even if it's just a dal and bread. It's food. It's something hot and nourishing, that's giving you some of that nourishment for your body. May not be a hell of a lot, but at least it's something. So that's part of coming in and building the community and bringing in community. And that's part of, that Aquarius energy. And then you also have the extremes of the Aquarius, which we've started to see with universities, etc. With that, as Pluto is heading into there. As Jupiter goes into Gemini later on tomorrow afternoon, I mean, we're gonna start hearing more of the stressors and stuff people are under. We are going to be starting to hear a lot more about the mental illnesses and people, who are strapped and who are stretched to their limit. And he's gonna be there for a year, so this is gonna be a year in building. It's it's part and parcel with, where Uranus is. Now, I put up on my Facebook. I didn't see anybody respond to it. I don't think people are responding to that. But in history, just last month, for the first time since World War II, uh, Germany has deployed to Lithuania, troops to Lithuania, like the first time. Now, and they have also offered to go and arrest the prime minister of Israel. I think, okay, Germany, last country to go do that. Just they have a bad rap with Jews, just saying. But it's interesting how things are starting the events are starting to turn. Now, I've always said, and I know what the news is saying and how things are unraveling, but I've always said that Russia will always fight with the United States. There's going to be a turn of events. There's something there that's going to happen. There's a lot of what came out with what the Pope said. Got a little bit of what he came out and talked about. And the basics of it was for him that all power goes back to the Pope when it comes to, making the final decision. If it's a miracle that's affecting everybody, a miracle that, let's say, Jesus comes down on a spaceship, he's going to have the last say on the Jesus coming down on a spaceship kind of thing. It's not going to be where it goes to the bishops in that area who declare that a miracle. So the power goes back to the Pope. The other thing that's really crazy that I found in it was sacred sites on touring and bringing in pilgrimages back to sacred sites. And I found that really like, whoa, okay. At first I thought, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Oh, hold on here. Hold on here. When was the last time the Pope wanted people to go to sacred sites? The Knights Templar? And where were the sacred sites they wanted to go to? Let me think. Oh, Israel, Jerusalem, sacred sites. Yeah. So there's a lot that's going on with there, and a lot of use with, when it comes to AI. Like, I know I'm gonna get flack from this, but I'm not monetized anyway, so what the fuck, hey? Um, a lot of stuff or shots that are coming out of the Middle East, of Gaza Strip, they're not clear. Like, I just was at a concert with my grandson filming with my, with my phone, and it's clear. Yet images coming out with are not clear. Even you know, and I'm just like, okay, why aren't they clear? I'm not an AI specialist, but the shit they can do with AI now. I mean, I saw a video where they did AI with it looked like a drone shot of the California gold rush. Okay, first of all, there is no drones in the Klondike gold rush. Second, there was no colored film of it, but it looked so real, right? And so this is where I'm finding it very interesting. And you know, Neptune is at the end of Pisces, and he rules media, and he rules a lot of the crazy stuff that comes out in media. Same with Uranus, and it's in Taurus. So, people are wanting to keep their little bougie lives and everything. They don't want to really look at what's going on over here, what's going on over there. I want to keep my bouginess. Yet there's just all of this crazy energy that's coming out. It doesn't make sense. Now, got to follow me here, people. Y'all know that I was raised Catholic, and y'all know that probably that I studied with the Sisters of Charity for a while. And I did a few years in theology and studying um, stuff, things with the church. Part of my studies was done with the Jesuits. Jesuit priests were uh I was there was always a Jesuit priest around us. My dad knew quite a few Jesuit priests. Now the Jesuit priests are the law keepers of the church. They are the lawyers of the church. They are very smart men. They are well educated. They actually go and study longer than a normal priest, which is, seminarians are usually about 7 years or something like that. They go longer, like sometimes 14 years in studying and studying, not only, when it comes to law, but canon law, which is church law. So they know the ins and outs. They know things. They're also kind of like the spies. So, you have the CIA and the FBI. Well, the church has the same thing, okay? People may not want to know that, but they do because they have to know, is this a good spot? Is this what's happening? What's the info on there? So the Catholic Church has a lot of ins and outs and knowing of things. Even with the letters that were coming out from Pope Pius, oh my God, I can't remember. Is it the 10th? Anyways, the Pope Pius from World War II had letters going back and forth with Hitler, okay? And he also had letters coming in from the Jesuit priests that were in Germany and Poland at that time, saying that, yeah, there's something happening here, and I think it looks like a Holocaust. Stated in some of those letters that have been released. Now, he knew. Did he go out and come out and say everything? Excuse me. No, he did not. Why? Well, because they're doing their own thing at the back end. So the Catholic Church, there's things going on, and I've said this before with you. There's things that go on with the Catholic Church that we're not privy to and that they have information to. And some things you guys it just would blow your mind with some of the information and the things that they are aware of and the things that they know of and or are involved in. And of course, everybody's going to go with a conspiracy and they're going to take it right down to children, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I understand that. But I'm talking on a political realm. Now, there is the ICC, which is International Court, right? And you got to look at what the ICC is and who supports the ICC. It isn't the Roman Catholic Church. Just saying. And who's involved with the ICC. So it's very interesting when you start looking at the Roman Catholic Church and the ICC, and you start looking at a lot of the powers that are going on there. And where the Pope even came out last year and even said about Israel about a two-state solution. And okay, I don't want to get I don't I'm going to get myself in trouble here. Just saying. All right. So they want a two-state solution. When you start looking at the countries that are Catholic and the countries that are not Catholic and that have Catholics in them. Britain broke away in 1531 from the Catholic Church. Who are they investigating right now? The ICC. Or no, the ICC does have Catholics in them. Okay, I got to get this straight. They're investigating some members of parliament on war crimes. Why aren't they investigating the United States? Not that the United States, now, if you look into their constitution and everything, the United States does not govern by a church. They're not a church-ruled state at all. All right? They believe in God, but that's all they say. They don't define God as any church. Yet, within the United States, they didn't break away from the church. They broke away from England, who broke away from the church. Follow me? So it's very interesting to start to see how things are being developed. And where even within Israel, who even like even well, he said he wasn't going to follow the WHO. The United States is saying the same thing. They're not going to follow the WHO. There is things that are unraveling, and it's going to take a couple years for this to really sink into a lot of people's heads. Right? Because there's so much that's beginning to unravel or beginning to come forth with information. And even the thing with the Iran, with the president, like, first of all, they never go on the same plane or helicopter, travel together. And they did. Something that was built in 1979, you can't even get the parts to anymore, an American-built helicopter. And even the pictures that are coming out from there look very distorted in AI. Even the body that they said they wrapped up was like not even the full length of a body, right? It was very small, unless he was a midget, which I don't think he was. But that's even interesting with the information that's coming out there. So, you know, and even having bodies. Like, usually when there's a helicopter crash, everything's disintegrated and the bodies don't usually survive, with that. And here they're saying that there are bodies and just the way the crash went. Anyways, it's just really weird. Conspiracy, put my tinfoil hat back on. But there are so much that's coming out that, Spirit of Tarot, yeah, I think energy creates the distortion. That there is a lot of distorted energy that's coming in. And a lot of things that are really starting to get crazy. Now, the other pieces that you're going to find also is that, we saw last year where it was Marxism was really, with with Black Lives Matter and that, and their manifesto was really Marxism. But now you're finding it's starting to head towards Nazism. And where where are the Nazis? Ukraine. Ukraine we've known that there's Nazis in Ukraine. We know that. And we're going to start seeing things really start getting crazy when it comes around to that and around Nazism. One of the reasons why I think our lovely PM is going to be resigning or stepping down is because of some of the affiliations and the affiliations with I allegedly, our deputy PM and who she's aligned to, and her history and her family history. So they are not going to stay because Canada even though we are a Commonwealth country, we still have somewhat of an affiliation with the Catholic Church. Not like it is in England. England has, the king as a state, he is the head. They say figurehead, but I think he has more. I mean, he dissolves parliament and all this kind of bullshit. So there is something there that's going on. And the church is having more of a say in things than what people realize. And I think since since the time of the Knights Templar, which wasn't the church. Now, the church didn't tell the Knights Templar to go out and escort the people to Jerusalem. It was the King of France who did that and said, to make sure everybody was fine. The Pope didn't really say that. He goes, "Oh, that's a good suggestion. That would be really great." But it was the King of France who said, "This is what we're going to do." So you're not going to see the hands of the Roman Catholic Church or the Pope really involved in this. They don't do that. They say, "Yeah, that's a really good suggestion, Okay, how about if you do that?" And so you're going to see others that are going to take into hands. I really think that they are going to go in and get the Prime Minister Natin, whatever Yahoo, and arrest him. But the thing is that Germany is the one who stepped up to say that they're going to go and arrest him. That is just tipping into the Holocaust. That's tipping into the whole thing about the Jews. And the whole thing and everything that's been happening that you've been seeing, on the universities and everything else that has been trying to rise up and everybody get against the Jews. We're going to start seeing some crazy mixed up shit coming forward. And it's just going to get crazier. Now, what does that do for you and me? Well, it makes things get harder for us to gets things harder for us to, if you're looking for a job or trying to do things that way, because they can do a lot of backdoor scheming because you're not paying attention to all the other bullshit that's going on and what the government's trying to do. And this is where, again, when Jupiter goes into Gemini, this is where people are they're going to have mental breakdowns. It's going to be difficult for them to function. The next thing is the weather. I know I live in Calgary. I know the weather changes. I understand that. But this is like crazy weather here. It's kind of cold here. Colder than usual. Like it can be cold spring and stuff like that. Yes, we get snow but this is it's different and it feels different. The amount of tornadoes and stuff and the strange tornadoes that are going through. Now, I know Uranus rules weird weather and weird activity and extremes and cyclones and things like that because he rules the heavens, right? And then Neptune being at the end of Pisces, yes, a weird water and activities and floods and things like that. But I'm finding that there is an extreme to this, more so than what we usually see and what we usually feel. And some of the tornadoes that I've been seeing online and are just gnarly. And watching these guys do the storm chasing, they ain't faking it. Honestly, like you can, like they're just by the sound of their voice when they're going after it, and they yeah, they're not faking it. So there's a lot of craziness when it comes to that. And then of course they're blaming it on climate change. So in amongst us trying to hold the light and letting our balloons go so the light can fly, so the light can go, is it's taxing on ourselves. And that's where we have to watch our own mental well-being and how we are doing mentally, how we are doing and handling the pressures, not only spiritually, but the pressures of our own lives, and how those things are having a influx on how we deal with things. And I know for myself, it's like I have to go for a walk. I have to get out there. Sometimes I can get very bitchy and, I live with a Scorpio, so he's a Scorpio, I'm a Scorpio, so out comes the Scorpio energy and the frustration of life, the frustration even the other day with my daughter said something, who's a lovely Aquarius, and she just has to say it, just the way she says things sometimes you're just like, and, she just lit the flame under her mother Scorpio, and it didn't go over too well. And she knew she pushed the limit. She knew she just like, "Oh, fuck," you know? And mom let all guns blazed out, which, after it was done, of course, everything's fine. Then she doesn't like she just like says, "Okay, I'll just be kind now. I'm going to be nice. I won't, be my old bitchy self." So, it's it's really watching how things are unfolding, and I know there's a lot of frustration out there for people. Even in the UK, I mean, I'm amazed that they haven't said anything here, but, with the warning for the UK to start supplying or getting up, making sure that they have a hand crank radio, and I've been saying, "I want a hand crank radio." Making sure that you have your torch lights and your batteries for your torch lights, making sure that you have, a supply. They're saying 3 days, I'm gonna say a month, right? And water and everything else that, and some form of water supply system that can, really not just bottled water really is fine, but for long periods of time, it'd be, to find a good distillery or Brita or something that can, help you to process your water and stuff and clean your water out, and then extra water filters. So there's a lot there, and all of that. I have no crank radio, and water is an issue for sure. Yeah. So there's a lot, and that's coming down. And the thing is that Russia warned Britain, if you use your weapons in Ukraine on us, you're on our list. What did they do the other day? My coffee. They use their weapons. Now, there is a lot that's coming down, and with how things are all really needing to intentionally clear ground and protect my energy, especially like, yeah, no, I agree with you. Protecting your energy, very important. Because the other part too, when we're entering into a time of war and death, because there's a high amount of death around, as I explained the other day, there's a lot of spirits that aren't moving on. My daughter's friend just experienced this. She went down to her and her family went to a trip to Oregon, and she just I don't know where they went, but I visited different areas. Anyway, she came back home. Just came home, and she's a very sensitive young girl, and very intuitive. And she goes, "I keep on feeling a weird presence, a real male energy around me. I don't know what it's from." So I'm asking Olivia all these questions to ask her. Where was she? Because she went somewhere strange. She didn't this sounds, and I said, "There's something to do with suicide. Did a friend commit suicide?" And she goes, "Oh, no friends have committed suicide. They were just in Oregon." And then I zoomed in that she went into, and I got something to do with either they went through a national park or they were at a national park, because national parks, weirdly enough, and they don't, they don't put all the stats on that, have a high case of suicide. There's a lot of people going out in the parks and killing themselves. And there was I got a youngish young man who's attached himself to her. And so we're, doing the clearing and stuff on her. You know, so but the thing is that people are just out there. You're out there in the park. You're not I'm out here in nature. Even when you're out there in nature, because a lot of energies or a lot of people and their souls aren't passing through. They're not going because things are happening dramatically, crazily. It could be that, even with the who is it? Oh, and he looks horrible. The the MP in Britain who just lost both his hands and his feet, and it was just a month after he had the the COVID shot. And that's coming out now. In part of the claim against the one shot that they had over in Europe that started with an ash or something. So sorry, my when it comes to certain words, I just can't say it properly. I know what it is. I hear it in my head. I just can't say it through my mouth. That's all. But yeah, he lost his hands and his feet through it, and because things started within a short period of time, all of a sudden he got gangrene. These are the types of things, you got to protect your energy. And those who, and I'm going to say, those who got the shot, if you are people who got the elixir, you're going to have to protect your energies even more, because you're very highly sensitive, right? With a lot of the things that are coming through, and a lot of the energies that are coming um through everything. So definitely, we bought a crank radio, we have life straws, we have about 6 of them, and we also have water in the basement. See, that's awesome. That's great. And if you're able to do that, that's great. Having the straws and the crank radio and everything else is definitely a must. And then backup torchlights and things like that. Those are all very much things that we are going to be needing as we go through. The other thing is, I feel like part of this, with the energies that are coming through, is that when it comes, they want to get rid of Israel, just get rid of it. And that's where that two-state solution comes in. But I think the Catholic Church wants to go in there, because they're butthurt from the last time. So, and they'll make a deal with the Muslims before they'll make a deal with the Jews. So, and the other thing is the US said no to the ICC as a court, and so did Israel. So that's why they're not recognized too, when it comes to they don't recognize them as an international court. So, and the guy who came out with that claim for from Scotland, look into his background. He's not Scottish. He's Middle Eastern. Who wants to arrest the prime minister of Israel? He's Middle Eastern. So it's just like, okay, all right, a little bit insane here. But these are the things, like, a lot of times people don't really look at, or they don't pay attention to, on how all of this is all woven in trying to make certain things collapse, and making this, coming in and collapsing. Um, June's going to be, May has brought in some really crazy information. We're not even through. We're 24th of May. May has brought in some really crazy information. Things happen very quickly, even in 1 week, of stuff from the Pope. And the Pope didn't even say anything about the Iranian prime minister or president. As he came out, he knew about it. I know he knew about it, but you know, he's going through his third Saturn return. So he really doesn't give a fuck. Honestly, he's just a placement. I don't think he's going to last much longer either. With that. So there's going to be a lot of roles that are going to be changing by the end of this year, and how these roles are going to look as we're heading into January of 2025, because that's when things really start cranking off. Things are going to start getting nutty and stuff, but it really starts cranking off in 2025, and everything starts getting more serious. So we are entering into, as I said before, that wartime energy, that wartime economy, and what that means and what that looks like. One of the big things, make sure you get a community. have a community um, around you and do what you can to build that community up around you is going to be important. Again, supplies, some people are better off. I mean, Charlene, God bless her, she's doing really, really well. That's great, right? Heard 80% of the US senators have Israeli passports. Oh, probably. Well, look at McGrone, I think it's McGrone. He's going back to Israel. He's going to be, do you remember? Do you remember the shot of the prime of Hitler in front of the Eiffel Tower? There's going to be a weird shot with either, somebody, and it could be with Israel this time, and a shot there because as they take things over, because Macron has been there a few times, and Macron might be the shot that's there. So yeah, there's some weirdness that's going to go on with that. Plus, I mean, right now with the barge that the United States is building, or the wharf that they're building off the coast of the Gaza Strip, it's like, I mean, are they going to fire on them? I don't think so. They're not going to fire on the United States because that means the United States is just going to fire back on them as they are taking the oil from the Gaza Strip. You know. But the other crazy thing, and I talked about where the Olympics going to be held this year, is going to be in France. France is united with, France is like, I'm calling him, the new Napoleon. Like he's very much like Napoleon. He wants to go to war, he wants to fight, and he's all gun ho on being with Ukraine. And Ukraine is the Nazis. So and what happened during World War II? You had the Nazi Olympics. Where are the Olympics going to be held this year? Are in France. Who is France aligning with? The Nazis. So totally insane, with all of that. And the whole thing when it comes to the and I was talking to somebody in England about how they've set up everything for the opening of the opening, right? Bloody hell, has it ever been? Um, is really it's on water as they're going through Paris and stuff, and how they set up the whole opening of the Olympics. But it's the first time being on water. But it's interesting that a lot of the symbolism and stuff that they're utilizing is a spell cast, or setting a spell, or doing something like that. Now, Russell Brand, at the end of the Olympics in London, and when London had the Olympics, and he was the orchestra of and all these ambulances and everything came up and stuff like that at the end of the Olympics then. And then a few years later in comes COVID and all of that, how he orchestrated. And then shortly after that, he did a 360. He did a total 360 after that, because either he got an insight or something happened, but he got something sort of like, holy fuck, this, I don't want to be on that side. And he moved and he jumped ship to the other side. So a lot of weirdness there with that too. So will Russia attack Britain? We'll see. I don't think that they're going to just like go and drop a bomb on them, but I think there's things they're going to be on high alert with a lot of things that are going to uncover over in England. That's why they're calling for everybody to get stocked up and stuff. So there's going to be something is going to happen over. I'm going to say within the next, between now and the next full moon, something crazy is going to happen in Britain. It wouldn't be for the first time that Britain had, the rail blown up or some kind of bomb or something crazy happened. So there's something there that's going to happen with that. And it's, yeah, just something weird. Something weird is going to happen. There's going to be some kind of foul play that's going to happen there as well. So I have no people here. Okay. Okay, we're going to be Lexi's community. I recently had myself rebaptized as I feel it very important to show I'm on the side of good. And the line is very defined now. Nice. That's beautiful. Congratulations. That's really beautiful. Yeah. And that has to do with Saturn being in Pisces. A lot of people are going back to the church or going back to being baptized. And that's because Saturn puts up boundaries and the church puts up boundaries. So that's so a lot of people are going back to the church. Russell Brand just got baptized. Candace Owens just joined, just went through a whole year of catechism and got baptized into the church, into the Catholic Church. Quite a few well-known people are like, yeah, no, we're going back to church and stuff. So you're seeing a lot of people going back to the church. I have people, but none that would know to check on me. Well, if you missed 2 of my shows, I'm going to be calling. So we'll put it at that. Missed 2 of my shows, calling. Send me your address. So we'll have to do a road trip if we don't hear from you in 48 hours. So yet I'm not necessarily big on the church. No. Okay, Lexi. No, you don't have to be big on the church, but it's the in the Christ consciousness, definitely, definitely, and that's beautiful. In bringing that energy back in. I mean, I've been doing Bible studies myself, but that's really understanding what the Old Testament is and understanding a lot of the information from the Old Testament as I'm going through it right now. I'm on the book of Ruth and the book of Judges. Oh my God, Judges is horrible. But and the book of Ruth, but of the traditions and everything that was back then, and even the amount of different gods that were in the Old Testament too, and the different gods from the different areas are mentioned quite a bit in the Old Testament. So, which is interesting. So, we have all of that and I've also been doing work with the Blessed Virgin Mary too, and the Sacred Heart of Mary, and working with the energies of Mary, which is absolutely beautiful. And working with that energy as well. So there is some, I mean, bringing in that positivity, bringing in that bringing in part of that ritual and that alignment helps to give you that strength to go through each and every day, helps you to bring in some beautiful alignments when you're working with others and working with that spirit, working with that light. And that's part of, as I was saying yesterday, bringing the light into the earth, but then we have to let it go. We can't just hold it ourselves. One, it's very difficult for a human being to hold it, but in order to release it. And Archangel Metatron. Oh, I love Metatron. He's cool. Yeah. And Enoch, the book of Enoch, a lot of information there and then you're bringing in a lot of aliens too, the working with aliens, but are they aliens from planets or aliens from different dimensions? I think, I got different dimensions, a lot of energy from different dimensions coming through. So, and a lot of them walk among us that are here, on bringing that energy. Metatron and Sandalphone is the other one, Archangel Sandalphone. Those are the 2 angels that walked the earth and that went straight and then got a place in heaven. Otherwise, angels don't have necessarily angels aren't human. Metatron and Sandalphone were human, and they Metatron, I believe, the Book of Wisdom, and bringing in the Book of Wisdom and bringing in the information about wisdom. So, yeah, I started praying more and reading a bit of my Bible. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's a beautiful when you start reading a lot, especially the Psalms and Sandalphone, I'm trying to think of how to spell it. Sandle, and then phone is phon, phone, Sandalphone, Archangel Sandalphone, and bringing in the energies of Sandalphon, Sandalphone. So Archangel Sandalphone. And sometimes he gets confused with Steve, I'm on a live. Sometimes he gets confused, but I believe they were brothers. They were together. So he is he works with Archangel Michael because he's one of the leaders of the armies and works with the leaders of the army. So it's also with, Michael being who ranks, and Michael is also a seraphim, so he goes up. Some of the archangels are seraphim, and so they're the higher realms of the angels. And seraphims are the ones who are in charge of the universe, are in charge of a lot of the or not a lot of all of the energies and of the laws of the universe and how the universe is conformed. And not all of it we think we know, but then you got the new Hubble telescope that's bringing back pictures of the universe that we've never seen before, and it's throwing a lot of theories out the door of how the universe is formed, and the energies of them all. Because right now Uranus is having crazy storms on it. The red spot of Jupiter is disappearing and a new storm is reappearing on, is it a hexagon on top of Saturn? Is it a hexagon on top of Saturn or Uranus? So there's a hexagon that's on top of them, which is really weird. So yeah, so there's a lot of craziness that's coming in and information that's coming in that we are just discovering as our world around us is going a little bit of cray. So we want to keep ourselves strong. So on that note, I want, if anybody can, hey, if you can send a donation, would be lovely. You can send it to thegurumama@gmail.com. Will not say no right now. Buy me a coffee, buy me some gas, or book a reading. And also, I'm doing level 1 Reiki this weekend. So if you're interested in joining me for level 1 Reiki, and we're working with the energies, it is all online that I'm doing this energy. And let me know. I do have payment plans for it. It's $150. And I do have payment plans if you are wanting to join. So sending you guys out so much love. May the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you, and all you say and all you be and all you do. Have a blessed one, everybody, and we will catch you. Oh, maybe tonight. Maybe we'll do a little thing tonight, and I'll do something tonight. Okay, so talk to you guys soon.